Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Lionheart Radio with your host, Rick Alexander. Today I'm speaking with nationally ranked powerlifter, Bonnie Schroeder. So right now you're getting ready for regionals, you're working out a couple hours a day, you are an online trainer. So
Yes.
what I kind of want to do is talk about how you got to this point. So I was kind of doing some research for the show and I was looking back through some of your posts. And in one of them, you were talking about 2013, I think, when you were completely fucking miserable is what I think you said.
Yeah.
And you talked about now you're living this, you called it your fuck yeah life. So I want to talk about can you bring us back to that moment? Because I think that there's a lot of people listening to this that, especially in fitness, they spend so much of their time in the gym and they want to figure out how to make this kind of their life. So could you take us back to that moment and kind of what was going through your head?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I never really, I never really planned on things getting to where they are now, as far as social media and everything. It's great that they did. It's provided me a lot of opportunities that I wouldn't have thought about in the past. But basically, taking you back to 2013 I guess 2013, I was doing a, pretty typical, I guess not typical, but 9 to 5 job. Okay. It was fine, paid well. Everything was fine about it, but it wasn't something that I was truly passionate about. I didn't enjoy it. I did find myself waking up and thinking, oh shit, I have to do this job today. I was dreading it.
Yeah.
And, working for someone else's goals might be fine if you enjoy the work, but if you're working for someone else's goals and you don't even enjoy it, then I don't see the point. And that kind of clicked for me one day. And I had been training people in the gym very, very part-time. I just had a couple of people that I worked with, and I really enjoyed it. And it really took a kind of a particularly nasty day at work that was just kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm like, why am I doing this? Why the fuck am I here working for someone else's goals, dreading coming here every day? And I didn't really have too much of a plan at that time, but I was like, fuck this. I'm just going to train people and just hang out in the gym all day and it's going to be great.
It'll work itself out.
Yeah, really. That's kind of what I was hoping on. I didn't have, a fucking step-by-step business plan. I just did it. And it was the best thing I could have ever done for myself, really.
So prior to that, then where did your sports career? Because you must have been, if you were training people on the side, you had been in the weight room for a very long time prior to that.
Yeah. Yep. I did have my personal training cert and all that. I ran track in high school and college. And after that, I was training in more of a bodybuilding type manner from probably about 22 to 26. I never competed or anything, but that's just how I was training. And that was the kind of people I was hanging out with. And then I dabbled in CrossFit for a year or two, and I didn't find powerlifting until I was 27. So I've only been powerlifting for 4 years now.
Okay, so when you go to train people, you're just a personal trainer, or are you coaching them in powerlifting right out of the gate?
I have a variety of both. So it really just depends on the client's goals, of course, because everyone has different goals when they come into the gym. So I do have a handful of competitive powerlifting athletes and then a group that are more involved in weight loss. And then I do have an older group of clients, which might even be my favorite to work with, where it's more of just strength that will translate to activities of daily living, which is a lot of fun. So I've got a wide variety, which is great because it definitely keeps it interesting.
Okay. So when you were looking to quit your job, you just you said you didn't have a business plan, you didn't have anything. So did you build any kind of on-ramp? Do you have any advice for people that are doing that? Or is it literally just jump out and figure it out?
Yes, to a point. I would hate to steer anyone in the wrong direction and they quit their job and email me yelling at me I did it because Bonnie Schroeder said do it. I would say, yeah, maybe have a little bit of a plan. I definitely had a group of people that reached out to me that I gave my 2 weeks notice and everything like that. But in that time, I also announced that I was going to be accepting more clients. So I did have a group of people a few people that reached out to me about training. So I had some people ready to go out of the gate. So I wasn't just falling into nothing and no income. So yes, I would recommend having a little bit of a plan.
Okay. And then was social media, were you starting to grow on social media at that time, or were you how were you getting the word out then?
Around that time, it was significantly less of a following. I can't really tell you how many I had, probably just a couple thousand. And it was more local than where I am right now. So I did use social media to kind of advertise that I was going to be accepting more clients in person. It didn't really reach online status until about 2016. So I just did in person for a while. And then I reached out to online, which has been great. And actually that's now where like the bulk of my business comes from.
Okay. And that's cool because then you can do it while you travel and stuff, right?
Exactly. Yeah. It lets me be a little bit more mobile, have a little bit more freedom, which is fantastic. I love the group of people that I work with in person, but you only have so many hours in the day and
right.
some people that you can see in person. So it's really nice to have that other business running.
Okay. So what's cool about this is we get a lot of like Q&A questions where people are kind of asking about, one, kind of how do they find their passion, and then two, how do they make it their living? So we've tried to like figure out different ways to showcase that. One of the things that happens though that I've seen is people begin to follow their passion and then they make the big leap. And once their passion, or once they are dependent on their passion for a paycheck, it starts to become really difficult. I've seen gym owners completely fucking hate the gym and leave. How is that kind of balance for you?
Right. I think that's really, really a good point. I've never really felt that way in person. I do have a group of about 30 people that I coach online, which is a decent sized group. Considering they all get individual plans, it definitely takes some time.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, but, and I actually gave this advice to someone not that long ago. They're like, how do you organize this? How do you manage your time? And I was like, that is the number one thing, is managing your time. So I have even though a lot of my business now I can do from my computer or from my phone, I still try to have like working hours, which I'm sure you understand. So I'm not going to be answering emails or messages or watching client videos if it's after 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. I give myself those set times so I don't get that burnt out feeling like I'm constantly on my phone or, oh my God, I haven't responded to this message and this client sent me this an hour ago. Okay, well, most of these clients have figured it out by now that I will answer, emails, messages, videos between, 1 and 4 and 6 and 7. You know what I mean? Other than that, I'm in the gym with clients. So it's important to remember that you might have a lot of clients, but they only have one coach. So being that one coach for them is so important. So I think, back to doing your passion and then, oh, wait,
yeah.
maybe this isn't what I thought it was going to be. I haven't had that personally. Again, I've heard of it, like you said, but I think really reaching out to other people that are doing what you want to do and being like, hey, honestly, how is this working out for you? How do you manage your time? How do you still stay passionate about the gym when you're in the gym 10 hours a day? I think reaching out and getting a really good honest feel for it before you make that leap or that change, that's probably pretty important.
Yeah, that's a good point. I think I noticed this definitely with myself. Once I started my company, it's like I was always on my phone and people would get pissed at me and I'm like, but I'm working. I'm not just like mindlessly.
Exactly. Yeah. So I've found that setting those hours for myself can be really helpful. And even if I'm not, even if I don't have in-person clients from 10 to noon, I'm still going to be like, okay, now is not the time for emails. You have your set time for that. Stick to those. And it really has helped a lot. And I've also shut all my notifications off, like everything, emails, text, everything. So that way I don't look at it until those times.
Yeah, that is really good advice. I do the same thing. So that's really cool. So do you get the bulk? So when you decided, look, I want to just go hang out in the gym and coach people and do that, I'm assuming the bulk of your income is probably coming from coaching people, but you've also built this really cool personal brand that's kind of gone along the side of that coaching business. And I know that you do promotions and stuff. So could you give us a little glimpse into what that sort of business looks like and what percentage of it kind of is?
As far as like my online.
Yeah, like do you derive income from any other way besides your coaching?
Right now it's just coaching in person and online. And then I also have a couple sponsors that I work with, brands that I represent that do play into that as well.
Okay. I guess just like, how do you manage that? Do you kind of use that personal brand as just a way to get clients over to your personal coaching, or?
Yes, I would say so. Right now it's great because I don't really have to do a lot of advertising. I haven't really advertised that I'm accepting new clients in a while now. You know, the great thing about having a social media platform is that people find you all different ways, and I get referrals, and people find me through, the brands I wear, maybe the products that I use, and so I really haven't had to do much self-marketing, which has been definitely a blessing because it's really taken off, which is great when you're able to have that kind of freedom. And just me posting a squat video or a bench video is going to kind of market me all on its own, because if people are going to say, oh, wow, she's lifting weight, I want to move that kind of weight. You know what I mean?
Right,
so It's very organic, not really a thing where I need to say, hey, I'm taking clients, please accept me as your coach. What I'm doing kind of speaks for itself at this point, which is fantastic.
Right. And did you have to work hard to build that social media platform, or what of course you had to work hard, but like, what was that like?
Yeah, I'm lifting weights.
Right.
It's kind of been a very slow growth over time. I was kind of late to the Instagram game. I wasn't like an original influencer, or I don't know if I like that term, but I think I signed up in like 2014, so kind of late. But it's been a very slow process, which I think is been good for me because I've been able to get used to it. And you meet people and they want to take pictures with you, and wrapping your brain around that is very weird, coming from, started out just like anybody else. Very lucky to know a couple people in the industry, and it really is all about who you know and the connections that you make. I've got some friends that own some decent sized companies, and those people set you up with someone, and that leads you to the next person, and so on. And then you're doing a podcast on a Wednesday afternoon.
Right.
So just these things just kind of grow and develop naturally. And I think that it's the number one thing is really, it's all about who you know and the connections that you make.
Yeah, I think that's really good, because I think a lot of times people, they put their energy in the wrong place, right? And so they're spending a shitload of time on Instagram, but they're not necessarily spending time in the right place. And what it sounds like is, for you even to have built those kind of online platforms, you were still putting the work in real life. Like, you were still meeting people in real life. Like, those connections, I'm assuming, were real connections and not followers on Instagram.
Yeah, well, there's definitely been a lot of people that have started that way, making that connection online, and then getting to meet them in person. I work with Hate Brands, and I met Matt Vincent, online before I ever met him in person. And then we met in person, had a connection. And then, a year later, I'm a part of his team and a sponsored athlete, so it's really, really all about putting yourself out there. I got this question, not that long ago we host ladies lifting events, and we had one this weekend. And someone did ask, how do you go about making those connections, meeting those sponsors, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, the best advice that I could give her was really put yourself out there, because people want their products seen, people want their brands worn. So there's nothing wrong with reaching out to someone that is maybe already an athlete or an ambassador, and making a connection with them, because maybe the next time that brand is looking for a new athlete, they'll get your name,
Right.
So again, that connection, internet is great, in person is better, is definitely the number one thing I would say.
Yeah, that's cool. We had Matt on the show. I can't remember what episode. Are you Yeah. Are you working with them? Are you working with the Hate Brand Goods?
Yeah, yep. I've been a sponsored athlete with them for about a year now.
Okay, very cool. Actually, I think Matt's was our number one listened episode of last year.
Oh, really? Well, I can tell him I'm going to try to beat that.
Yeah, see if you can take him out. So you mentioned you had these ladies lifting events. So I kind of want to talk about, like, what has that been like? So I know that you ran track in college. I guess, what is the transition? You've been pretty vocal about this idea that you thought women were supposed to look a certain way, and it seems like you're very comfortable in your path at this point. And so how has that kind of transition gone?
Yeah, it's definitely been a big mental shift for me. You know, when I was running track, I was a lot lighter and definitely less muscular than I am now. And at that time, I had this idea, you know, that skinny was cute, skinny was sexy, skinny was preferred. And then I started lifting weights more seriously after college because I kind of had that moment I think that every ex-collegiate athlete has when you're like, oh shit, what do I do now? You know, how do I stay now? So I was training and I was gaining a little bit more muscle and I was training and then like that bodybuilding manner, like I said. And then I'm very lucky because I liked it. I didn't freak out. I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm getting too big. I was like, oh, hell yeah. Like this looks, look at these shoulders. Like this looks sick. I like this. So I'm very lucky that my mindset kind of developed at the same time as my body did. And, you know, I probably have it a little bit easier than others because I'm naturally pretty lean. So when I'm not lifting, I kind of shrink down to nothing. So that does put me at a different starting point than a lot of women. But I think it's important to figure out how you can embrace those physical changes as your body, you know, or get the mental part of it down as your body is changing, because it's so cool. It's so cool how your body can change. And it's really cool what your body's capable of. So I think spreading that message is really, really important. I always encourage women, you know, you'll see that shift, but I encourage them, stop worrying about the weight on the scale and start worrying about the weight on the bar.
Yeah.
And that just telling them that can be so simple and so easy. And all of a sudden they're not concerned what the weight is, but they're happy that they got a new 3-rep max on their squat, you know?
Right.
So it's so cool seeing that shift.
So I think because in large part because CrossFit's gotten so big over the last decade that it's becoming a lot more accepted for women to lift weights, which it seems ridiculous that it would ever not be. But if you can look back and like, so at first you saw this transition in yourself and you liked it. Did you? How was it for the outside world? Did everybody else like it, or did you have to? Or have you dealt with shit online? Like, how has that been?
Oh, yeah, of course. I think every, you know, female that's in a strength sport has gotten something online. You know, at first probably no one even noticed but me. And I think there's still some people that are stuck in, you can look a certain way until you get to a certain point. And then it's not acceptable or it's not okay. And being, you know, having a social media platform, there's going to be creeps and trolls and just plain rude people out there that feel the need to express their opinion. But yeah, I've gotten, you know, why don't you just go grow a dick, or you should go get your boobs done, you know? So both ends. Can I say these things?
Oh yeah, this isn't CNN. Say whatever you want.
So both ends of the spectrum, and I've said this on a podcast before, it's interesting because people want you to, well, not everyone, but some people want you to fit one way or another. You are too masculine, so just go be masculine, or you're not feminine enough, go be more feminine. So, and I've been around long enough that I can just laugh those things off, you know, but it's not so easy for everyone.
Right.
And I think we're very lucky because for the most part, people don't think like that, and people are very pro women empowerment and lifting weights and being whatever the fuck they want to be, which is rad and exactly how it should be. So I think that luckily we're getting away from those kind of not so great ideals.
Right. So if you could, I guess if you could say something then to like 18-year-old Bonnie, what would you say?
To 18-year-old Bonnie?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I would tell her to stop running track and join a powerlifting club somewhere.
I mean, you must have been good at track if you ran it in college.
I mean, I was good enough to run track in college, but I'm not as good at track as I am at powerlifting. So
okay.
Yeah. My college didn't have a powerlifting club or anything cool like that. Luckily, there are lots of those around the country now, which is really cool to see. I didn't have that opportunity. If I did, I don't even know if I would have taken it at that point in my life. But yeah, I would definitely. I would tell her to go start lifting more weights for sure.
Do you run now at all, or are you lift weights faster for cardio?
Oh my God. Today was cardio for me, the 3 sets of 9. No, I can't tell you the last time I ran. It blows my mind. Like, how did I ever get around a track in less than a minute? Like,
right.
What? It doesn't even make sense to me anymore.
Was that your event, the 400?
Yes.
What was your time?
Yeah. My best time would have been just under 60 seconds.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So that's fucking fast.
And that's crazy. Like, I look at that and I can't even comprehend it anymore.
So what are some of your gym numbers now?
My gym numbers?
Yeah, like big 3.
My PRs. So squat, 292. Bench, I've hit 185 in the gym before. I've only done 182 in competition. And deadlift, my best one that was okay by judges in a meet was 391 at the Arnold. I lifted in the Pro American meet and I locked out 402, but I didn't hold it long enough for the down command. So it didn't count to the judges, but it counts to me. So I'm basing everything off of 402.
Yeah. And that's at what body weight?
120.
Okay. So let's talk a little bit about some of your methods. How do you train now? As far as do you follow Westside? Do you kind of program for yourself?
I write everything for myself. I did have a coach a couple years ago. And let's see, I had a coach. I was writing for my clients, but I had a coach writing for me. And he had something happen in his life where he had to let his clients go. And that was pretty much the best thing for me ever, because he was like, you know what you're doing, you can do this, you'll be just fine. And so I was kind of thrown into it. I was very comfortable writing for others, but it's a different story when it comes to your own program.
Yeah.
And so I was kind of thrown into it, and again, best thing that ever happened to me. It was fantastic, because I was really forced to not be just the athlete anymore and kind of look at my training objectively and take my feelings and emotions and everything out of the equation. I say that, but at the same time, I do a lot of auto-regulating throughout my training cycles. So if something feels great, hey, we might go up that day. If something doesn't feel as good, okay, we need to adjust. And I think that's really key because my body recovers in really, really like weird ways. So it would be really tough for me to even have a coach at this point. Because I know exactly how many days my body needs between a deadlift and a squat day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So everything is auto-regulated based off of how I feel. And I forget your original question.
Well, I was talking about, I do too. Fuck it. So do you worry about...
I follow a program.
That's right.
My own program.
Right. Okay. So do you worry about finding blind spot or not finding blind spots in your own programming?
Yes, I do. I try to, like I said, kind of take me being the athlete out of the equation and look at it. Okay, if you were one of my online clients or in-person clients, what would you do for this issue that we're having? I make myself do these days of 9 at 79%, and that's disgusting.
Just
but
awful.
it was really horrible. But the work got done, and I look at every day as, I tell my clients this too, every day you're just making a deposit, and on meet day, you get to cash out. So if you made your deposit that day, then you did the best you could. You know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So, coaching for yourself is definitely tough. I know I've got weaknesses, and I'm very well aware of what they are, and I work hard on them. So I'm hoping that I'm covering all my areas and not leaving any blind spots.
Well, I saw that you'd been working on hitting that 400 you've been talking about it for a while, so I'm glad you got it. That sucks it didn't count.
Kind of got it.
Right.
Stay tuned for July because I'm going to try again.
Yeah. And so what event do you have coming up in July?
That is USAPL Regionals.
Okay.
So the Midwest Regionals, and that is in St. Louis, actually, where I'm moving to. So that will be my qualifying total to get me to nationals in October.
Okay, cool. And will you get a coach for the meet day? Do you get like a platform coach at all? Someone to help you with your numbers?
I will have someone there for me. Yeah. Obviously, I'm my own coach, but I'll have someone there to handle me and take care of my warm-up weights and let me know where I am in the lineup and everything. It's really hard to do all that on your own.
Right. And so what about eating? Do you subscribe to any kind of diet at all?
I track macros.
Okay.
I didn't used to. I used to just intuitively eat, and I was doing okay. My body really doesn't fluctuate too much. I'm pretty stable for the most part. But now I work with Hybrid Nutrition, Steffi Cohen and Hayden's company. And I have a nutrition coach that I check in once a week with my macros for the past week, body weight, and then updated pictures. I like macros because it lets you still be flexible and have the things that you want and not as restrictive as other diets.
Right.
So, and that's, when I have a client that's wondering what to do with nutrition, because I don't personally offer that, I do like recommending macros. Like I said, it lets you be flexible, and I hate feeling like I'm super restricted. Otherwise, I couldn't stick to a diet like that.
Right. And so do you walk around above your lifting weight? Do you cut down? Like how does that go for you?
Just slightly. So this is actually the first time in my life where I've been up above my weight class, which was the goal. I told my nutrition coach that was the goal for this training cycle, to get a little bit heavier, put on a little bit more muscle. So the reason I want to cut down, so I compete at 57 kilos, so that's the top of the weight class, so it's 125. But that is just a USAPL weight class. All the other powerlifting federations, it's 56 kilos, so 123. So if I want to be considered in like the national rankings, they usually lump the 57s and 56s. They'll just do it by 56s. But if you're a 57 and you competed under 56, then you get put in the national rankings, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So I like to be under that so I can be on the national list against all these other federations and not just USAPL because I weighed 124.
Right. Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. So when you are, and that's difficult. That's a difficult thing about powerlifting, is that there are so many federations.
Yeah.
And so how do you decide on to go with them? Is it like nationally ranked or the most nationally recognized?
Yeah, so USAPL and USPA are pretty much like the big two, kind of. USAPL claims to be drug-free sport entirely.
That's my next question.
And so I currently am natural. So ideally, I would like to be competing against other women that are too. In the perfect world. I also like that they have very clear distinctions between what is raw and what is equipped. And so in USAPL, knee wraps are considered equipped. So their raw category is truly raw, just with knee sleeves.
Okay. And because all your numbers are completely raw.
Yes, yeah. just knee sleeves. Yep.
Right. Okay, cool. And so do you find as a girl, is there a lot of pressure to juice, or where do you stand with all of that?
No, I've never felt any pressure, I would say. Some people have thought I was, which in my opinion is a compliment.
Yeah, so that's kind of good.
Yeah, I was like, actually, no, I'm not. No, I've actually never felt any pressure. No.
Yeah, interesting. So if you can look at your whole entire powerlifting kind of career so far, something I struggle with a little bit, which is kind of ironic for this question, but when you look at Instagram, or when you look at how people find you, obviously there's this huge tendency to want to only highlight the best things. It wouldn't make sense to post your like crap days, right? Unless you even highlight your crap days and make those motivational. But when you look at your whole kind of right, which people do, and they're like, see, I don't just post good stuff. But when you look at your whole powerlifting kind of career, where do you think you struggle the most?
Oh man, my whole career.
Or you as an athlete.
I need to get better at squatting. That's really what I look at. My other two numbers are pretty comparable, more comparable to the top girls, but there's definitely a deficit in my squat numbers that I focus on, and I probably focus on it a little bit too much because there are some days when I beat myself up and I'm just like, oh, but look at Ashley over there. She's repping 50 more pounds than I have on my bar today, So it is tough to not compare yourself to these other people out there that are doing amazing things. But then when I start beating myself up for whatever reason, I just look back and I'm like, remember when it was tough to squat 135?
Right.
If you don't keep it in perspective, you will just eat yourself alive. And that's the most important thing. And everyone is at a different place in their lifting career. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe Ashley's been lifting for 7 years, seriously, and I've only been lifting for 4, So it's impossible to win in a comparison situation like that.
Yeah. And where do you shake out nationally currently?
I haven't checked because I don't really want to know because I wasn't happy with that total from the Arnold. Last I looked, I was ranked 6th in the USAPL in my weight class.
6th, as in one more than 5?
Yes.
Okay, so you're all right.
I haven't looked at it. I probably have been bumped down a couple 2 spots.
Right.
But I didn't want to look at it, and I accidentally saw it because I wasn't happy with the total from the Arnold. So yeah. We're all a little crazy here, right?
Yeah. Well, new meet coming up soon.
Yes, exactly.
So the Lionheart Kicker is the final question. I try to ask every guest this, so it's based on advice. If you could give blanket advice and it were guaranteed that everybody in the world would hear it and it would be translated to every language, they might not all follow it because people are dicks, but they would definitely do what you said. What would you tell people?
As far as related to their sport?
It can be sport, it can be life, it can be anything that you know up until this point.
Oh, okay. Well, I really want to steal Matt Vincent's line and say, make your life a fuck yeah life.
Oh, was that his line?
That's Matt Vincent's, yeah. But I mean, really, he kind of fucking nails it. Absolutely. I think if you can follow your passion and make your life that way, then absolutely 100% fucking do it, because it's way too short to spend your life working for someone else and for someone else's goals. That would be my life advice. Second part of advice, sports specific, learn all you can. And don't ever be that coach or that athlete that thinks they know everything, because you really fucking don't. Always stay learning, always be curious, always be open to learning new things, and really just make yourself a student of the sport, and that would be the best thing that you can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think curiosity will help you out in all factors of life, actually.
Absolutely.
When you look at making your life a fuck yeah life, was that just your profession, or were there does that mean other things too to you?
I think that covers a lot of aspects. Now that I am with some amazing brands and doing these ladies lifting events, I get to travel and meet cool people and do cool things. And for me, that's a big part of it, because I never wanted that 9 to 5 fucking stagnant, comfortable in a routine. I hate that. That sounds miserable. That sounds horrible to me. So I want to travel. I want to go new places. I want to do things. I want to hang out with cool people. And if those are your goals and something that you want to do in life, then you should figure out a way to get there, because it's, like I said, life is too short.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the cool things is once you start doing things that you're interested in, you kind of start pulling on that thread, and then it starts opening up other doors, and you're like, well, maybe I'll go that way. And then you just naturally will find things that resonate with you as you go along.
Yeah, exactly. And a great example of this was, getting on with hate brands. And you really have to take a step back out of yourself and look at your life, and you're like, whoa, I'm here now. This is really cool. So getting with hate brands now, Matt is one of my great friends. And one weekend he's like, hey, I'm going to do a seminar with Ed Cohn this weekend in Chicago. You should come hang out. I'm like, okay, cool. So then it's Friday night and I'm having drinks with Ed Cohen at the bar. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, how did we get here again? But this is fucking rad. So, I mean, it's really possible for anyone if you're passionate about what you're doing and you're putting yourself out there.
That is probably the best example of what I just said I've ever heard, actually.
Yeah, you know? And I'm just like, damn it, this is cool. And like, Ed knew my deadlift at the Arnold that I didn't get, and he was giving me a hard time. I'm like, one, this is awesome because Ed Cohen knows about my deadlift. Two, this sucks because Ed Cohen is giving me shit about my deadlift.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just, life is fucking weird, and it's so crazy, and it's so cool, and you really can make it whatever you want, and that's a great opportunity we have.
So for those of you guys listening, that is like Ed is widely considered one of the greatest powerlifters of all time. That's the relevance
yes,
of that
if you don't
situation.
know who Ed Cohen is, you should find out.
Get your shit together. Yeah, exactly. So for people that are listening to this and they want to follow along with your journey, I know you're not taking on clients right now, but where's the best place for them to kind of support what you're doing?
They can find me on Instagram at Bonschro, BONSCHRO, and I'm sure I'll be posting about this podcast.
Yeah, perfect. And we will link that up in the show notes of this episode. Bonnie, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. It was so much fun.
All right, perfect. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening to Lionheart Radio. I hope that the information from today's show will make you fitter, happier, and healthier. For the show notes of this episode and every episode, head to www.lionheartrad.io. Yep, just like Lionheart Radio. And please, if you have the time, head over to iTunes and give us a 5-star rating. It really helps us to know that we're on the right track in delivering you reliable information and value. As always, feedback is welcomed. If you have any comments on the show or like to suggest a guest, send me an email at rick@luavive.com. That's LUAVIVE.com. Thanks for your support, and we will see you next time.
Bitch, I feel good. Don't I look stupendous? My shine is so endless, and shit you can do to end this. Even when I'm dead, niggas still gon' bump that chip shit. Coke, white, Escalade on cinches for you dipshits. So you won't forget this. Midwest nigga be the coldest. Cleveland.